over 600,000 people go missing in the United States each year. Tens of thousands remain mysteriously missing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mysteriously Missing. I'm Karen.
And I'm Carl.
This episode discusses the disappearance of Veronica Marlon Reyes-Diaz. Veronica went missing on January 18th of this year, 2020.
This episode retraces Veronica's last known location in Dover, Florida, where she resided. Dover is located in Hillsborough County and is considered a suburb of Tampa, Florida. This is located approximately 20 miles from Dover.
Dover is on the eastern side of Florida, about midway up the state and near the Gulf of Mexico. Currently, Dover has a population of about 3,500 people. The largest industries there are construction and agriculture.
A brief description of the case, and again, we've chosen a case that doesn't have a lot of information, but of course this is equally important as a missing persons case.
Veronica has not been seen since January 18th, 2020 at approximately 1:10 a.m. after returning home from a night out with friends.
Veronica lived in the Valrico Hills mobile home community, and you can see their mobile home on news clips from family interviews.
Her 18-year-old sister Veronica states, "She's a great mom. She's there for her kids when they need her."
Veronica's favorite quote is, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage."
She speaks Spanish. She likes Chivas de Guadalajara soccer team and the Las Vegas Raiders. Her favorite song is "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston.
Some of her favorite movies are the animated movie The Nut Job and The Boy Next Door. Her favorite TV show is The Steve Wilkos Show. Now, she put this on Facebook 6 years ago, so that may have changed.
She was born on June 7, 1996. She was 23 when she went missing. She is 24 today and was missing on her birthday this June.
Her height is 4 foot 9 inches tall with a weight of 130 to 150 pounds. Her ethnicity is listed as Caucasian and Hispanic. She has brown hair, but she recently dyed it burgundy. Based on the photos, her hair length is below her shoulders.
Her eyes are brown. She was last seen wearing a white and gray long-sleeved cropped shirt, jeans, and sandals. She has a dark mole near the left corner of her eye and may be wearing glasses.
She has pierced ears.
Her family consists of her husband, Francisco Reyes. Her Facebook page says she's been happily married since December 8th, 2018. They have 3 small boys, Ricardo, Noah, and Josue.
Her father is Fidencio Minjares. Her mother is Tina Cortez, also known on Facebook as Tina Hall. She has a sister, Victoria Minjares.
Other family members listed on Facebook are her aunts, Juana Cortez Avila and Christine Harris. Her cousins are Marcus England, Brianna Delgado, and Jennifer Delgado.
She worked as a stay-at-home parent and in the past also worked as a cashier at Taco Bell Express in Plant City, Florida. This is only about 10 miles from Dover, where she lived.
So now let's get into the timeline. It was Friday night. Veronica had made plans to go out with a friend. Her husband stayed home with their 1-year-old son, and she took their 2 older sons, ages 4 and 5, to her sister's house in Plant City, Florida, about 15 minutes away. She returned home and was picked up by her friend later that night. She had dinner with her girlfriend.
Saturday, January 18th, 2020. Around 1:15 in the morning, Veronica's friend dropped her off at her house, and then Veronica drove to her sister's house. This was to pick up the boys before returning home, according to Veronica's father.
Once the children were inside, she put them to bed. She was last seen by one of her 3 small children. It appears she left the house again, but didn't return.
Veronica's Chevy Yukon was found parked outside the house. Her car keys and wallet with cash were inside the vehicle. Veronica's father told Dateline her cell phone pinged in the area over the weekend, but by Monday it had been turned off because no messages or calls were going through.
A comment on Web Sleuths quoted Veronica's dad, although we could not find verification of this on any news items. The quote by her father was, "Her husband told me he woke up about 7 o'clock Saturday morning and he couldn't find her. So he woke up the oldest son and asked him, and he was like, 'No, Mama went outside.'"
We weren't really worried at first, Veronica's father said. Thought she may be staying with a friend, maybe she just needed some space. It happens, but not for this long. And she would have never left her kids, never. They were everything to her.
Veronica's 18-year-old sister was the last adult family member to see her.
On Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, 2 days later, Veronica's family filed a missing persons report. They began searching the area, but there was no trace of Veronica.
Assistant Chief Communications Officer Amanda Granite with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office told Dateline that Veronica's case is classified as a missing persons case and anyone with information is encouraged to call.
Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020. The family was interviewed by Fox 13 News out of Tampa Bay, Florida. Her parents fear the worst, sex trafficking.
Her dad states her phone is missing. It either died or was turned off Monday night because no messages were going through. No one has heard a peep from her.
And here's her dad speaking to Fox 13.
For her, leave her kid stranded? I don't see it.
Victoria Minharas, her sister, said, "If I really think about it, it hurts. I try to keep my mind off of it."
January 23rd, 2020. The husband was interviewed by Telemundo Tampa 49 TV, and here's the audio in Spanish so you can get a feel for how he's handling his wife's disappearance.
Encontramos su camisa aquí, esta fue la que llevaba cuando salió de la casa, pero no entiendo por qué está aquí. También su cartera está aquí, su identificación está aquí. Dejó todas las llaves del carro, las encontramos aquí en el asiento.
He was basically reaffirming the car was there with the wallet and keys, but Veronica had disappeared.
A vigil for Veronica was held on February 9th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Veronica is a member of the Liberty Southern Baptist Church Youth Ministry.
This vigil was open to the public. Attendees brought their prayers, their support, and were there to spread the word. They asked all who attended to wear her favorite color, blue, as a show of solidarity.
Family, friends, and members of the community came to pray for her safe return. We've known her, like I said, 10 or 11 years, said Gina Fredette, Veronica's old youth leader at church.
The pastor and his wife felt something needed to be done for this young mother. Somebody knows something. She's out there somewhere, and we thought if we come together as a community, we could help out the family, the husband, the children.
Some held candles while others held phones as they streamed the service to increase awareness.
And anyone with information was reminded to contact the sheriff's office. They asked the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office to support them in conducting a full investigation.
Veronica's family has tried just about everything to bring her home. They've put out flyers, social media posts, held search parties at local parks as well.
"I just want her home," said Tina Cortez, her mother. She has just one wish, that her daughter returns to her family.
And here's Veronica's mom.
I leave her messages on her phone, hoping she would look at it. But there's nothing. I call her phone every day. Nothing. Mija, come home. Come home, give your boys a hug. Let me hug you.
Now, February 26, 2020, a NamUs case was created.
May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day. Fidencio, Veronica's father, said Mother's Day was especially hard for the family. "I just tried to keep the kids entertained," he said, "but they keep asking for her. They're worried. I just don't know what to tell them anymore. We just need her home."
May 11, 2020, a $1,000 reward was offered for information leading to Veronica's whereabouts. It is still a case that is being actively investigated, Officer Granite said. Veronica is not considered endangered, and there are no signs of foul play at this time.
The family, however, believes her disappearance is completely out of character and is frustrated with the lack of movement in her case.
There's a big problem with sex trafficking in this area, her father stated, and I'm just worried that someone grabbed her that night.
Nearly 3 weeks after Veronica vanished, 28-year-old Kaya Taylor disappeared from Plant City, Florida on February 6th. She was previously featured on Dateline NBC's Missing in America.
Kaya's black 2000 Toyota Solaris was found abandoned on railroad tracks at East Trapnell Road. The engine was still running. Her belongings, including her cell phone and debit card, were in the car.
It's not known if these two disappearances are connected, but Veronica's father said he is looking into every possibility. He said that as far as he knows, the two women did not know each other. However, he said he has discovered they have mutual acquaintances.
He said their family and Kaya's family are working together to bring their loved ones home safe. This has brought our families together for one goal, to find our daughters, he said. Every time I'm out searching for Veronica, I'm searching for Kaya too.
But the searches for both women stalled when the coronavirus pandemic shut everything down in March. Everything has just stopped because of coronavirus, he said. We're all just really worried. I'm just so desperate for answers, for closure, something.
June 17, 2020. Families of missing women protest at Hillsborough Sheriff's Office. The family of the two missing women got vocal about what they call a lack of investigation on behalf of the police.
Outside the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in Ybor City, which is a historic neighborhood in Tampa, Florida, protesters got loud. Unlike other recent protests, this one was mostly family members protesting the way detectives have handled Veronica's case.
They teamed up with the family of Kaya Taylor. Gloria Delgado, who we believe is Veronica's aunt, stated, "They dropped the ball from the get-go. For both cases, nobody is wanting to talk to us. Nobody is giving us answers. Nobody is doing anything for us."
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said they have been in constant contact with Veronica's father, but he told 8 on Your Side he just started getting calls last Thursday. At the end of the day, she needs to come home, no matter which way she comes home, said Gloria Delgado.
The sheriff's office also told 8 on Your Side they have a project in the works to get more information out about the disappearance of Veronica and Kaya.
They're again asking for information from the public that will give their detectives leads in these cases.
On July 12, 2020, a Facebook page was created called Finding Veronica Reyes and Kaya Annette Taylor, and this was by Pink Justice.
August 12, 2020. Veronica's aunt weighed in on web sleuths and stated, "I am Veronica's aunt. Very little was done at the beginning. The sheriff's office told us we knew where she was and we were doing this for attention. The oldest son wasn't questioned about that night until 4 months later. He was 5 at the time."
Her comment on web sleuths continued. Husband claims he didn't hear them come home. They live in a single-wide mobile home. Boys were awake when they left her sister's house, and she is a loud person. No way he didn't hear them come home.
So now let's recap. Veronica had made plans to go out Friday night with a friend. Her husband stayed home with their 1-year-old son, and she took their 2 older sons, ages 4 and 5, to her sister's house, which was in Plant City, Florida, about 15 minutes away. She then returned home and was picked up by her friend later that night.
Around 1:15 in the morning, Veronica's friend dropped her off at her house, and then Veronica drove to her sister's house to pick up the boys before returning home. Once the children were inside, she put them to bed and then must have walked back outside.
According to a comment on Web Sleuths, only one surveillance camera exists in this mobile home park, and the family says all it showed was Veronica's friend's car dropping her off. Is the camera positioned only to capture vehicles entering and exiting the park? If so, was another vehicle seen at the time she disappeared?
Veronica is very young, only 23, so getting home that late is not that unusual. Has the friend been interviewed and her house checked out by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
We listened to an audio of her husband on a Spanish-speaking television station. Has he continued to speak out and search for Veronica?
Did she decide to go outside because she was too awake from the night out? Did she meet someone where they went that night? Did they come to pick her up? Did her friend come back and pick her up?
Perhaps she didn't bring in her wallet or other items because her arms were full of children. So she puts the children to bed and goes back outside for her keys and wallet? Her phone could have been in her pocket. Was someone out there and she didn't make it back to the car?
The sheriff's office told 8 on Your Side they have a project in the works to get more information about the disappearance of Veronica and Kaya. What is the project they are planning? Are they addressing the possibility of human trafficking?
There are 2 Facebook pages that can be referred to. One is personal, and it is Veronica Reyes, and that states that she has 611 friends. The other Facebook page is called Finding Veronica Minjares Reyes and Kaya Annette Taylor. And again, this is by Pink Justice with 1,100 members.
There is a GoFundMe account called Please Help Us Find Veronica Reyes-Diaz.
It was created on March 1st, 2020, and it's raised $350 of the $5,000 goal. So if you feel moved to do so, please help this family by contributing to this fund.
The GoFundMe account states, Veronica Marlon Mijares Reyes disappeared from her front door January 18, 2020 after a night out with her friends. She brought her boys home, walked them in, and that was the last we heard of her.
It continues, her wallet with money, keys, and ID were still in her truck. She did not just walk away. She would not have abandoned her 3 boys.
And we suspect foul play and need funds to help with items that we will need to help with searches. We also need to hire a private investigator to help the family get some much-needed answers.
Funds will also go toward a reward for anyone giving us her location. This has been a huge financial burden on our family. Any amount is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support. And here's a message to Veronica from her mother.
Veronica, if you see this, we love you. We're worried. Please come home. Please.
If you have any information about Veronica's whereabouts, please call the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The phone number is 813-247-8200.
This family is at a loss as to what happened to this mother of 3 beautiful young boys. Please support them in any way you can. And thanks everyone for joining us here on Mysteriously Missing.
Thanks everyone.